Hey guys, meteorologist Lindsey Slater here. So I want to talk a little bit about some space weather. We did have some G3 conditions yesterday, G3 storming conditions yesterday. I believe this was due to a high-speed stream. I don't think we had any CMEs. If we did, I think they were earlier in the week. But I think a lot of this is due to substorming and high-speed streams that have been happening. I mean, honestly, look at the solar wind right now, 728 kilometers a second. So it is definitely going really fast, and that's very indicative of a high speed stream. So there was issues with geomagnetic storm warnings as a result of this, and this was again issued yesterday, I believe. Actually, this was issued at 6 a.m. So we definitely could see some conditions, maybe even some auroras. I'm keeping a close eye on that potential. Again, this is associated with a high speed stream, and these can fluctuate very frequently. So it's kind of a toss up as to whether or not Wisconsin could see some auroras, but we are in that oval. Again, when you go to SWPC's website, they have the auroral oval. Take that with a grain of salt. This model is horrendous. So what we have going on is again that coronal hole. So I'm looking at helioviewer.org. This is a current look at the sun right now. This is a specific angstrom, or basically wavelength. This one is really good at showing these filament regions right here, these bursts off the sun. You see this right here? It's so cool, isn't it? It also showcases prominences, which is basically filaments but on the sun. And you can see some of those kind of like these dark lines that are kicking up here. A lot of active regions. You can see some flaring going on. Flaring is a lot easier to see when you're actually on the 211, or not 211, I'm sorry. That would be I think it was 131. There we go. 131 is good to see flaring regions. So you can see lots of action here, right in the middle, and also towards the western edge of the sun. And if you're thinking, Lindsey, you're talking western edge, that's the wrong direction. No, for the sun, that is the western edge, because the way the earth looks at the sun, we look at the perspective of this is the sun, this is the earth. It is the sun's projection of coordinates to the earth. So it's backwards. So yes, this right here, upper here, that is the western side of the sun. That's the eastern side of the sun. What I want to highlight is the 211, or you could use 193 to showcase really good coronal holes. And right now the sun kind of looks like a smiley face, but that coronal hole, which is right here, this is what we use as the high speed stream. This is open magnetic field lines going out and going towards Earth, because it is not only a positive polarity. We know that by going to the solar synoptic map, which I will show you. Solar synoptic map. This is also something issued from SWPC. It is a positive polarity. You see that right here. It says 83 plus 4. 4 indicates basically the lines around this coronal hole are real defined and nice. That just shows a scale of 1 to 4. That shows basically this is a pretty concrete area of coronal holes. If you're at a 1, that means it's not as defined. So this is a 4, so that's best as it gets. And the plus showcases the polarity. It's a positive polarity. It's a south-centered disk, so it's facing Earth. And a positive polarity this time of the year means that there is a much better opportunity for us to get storming because of the polarity of the Earth. So think of like two magnets. You don't want to have the same polarities going on, because then they're just going to fight, right? You want something that's going to connect, and that connection happens at Earth when you have a positive polarity during the autumn season. We call that snap. Summer negative polarity, or autumnal or autumn positive, SNAP. So I learned that in my space weather class. So yeah, we have a positive polarity, south Earth facing coronal hole. That's what's going on. So could we see some storming? Well, we definitely could. We've been seeing storming, and you can see this big old hunk of a coronal hole. It's very wide. It's spitting out tons of high-speed streams. Let's go to the solar wind, which is, if you go under the SWPC's website, you can go under products and data, and that's where you'll find the solar synoptic map. You can look at real-time solar wind, and this is a look at that solar wind, and this is over the last day, and we've had a lot of. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit more, I think. This is a little bit too long. I want to do it like 6 hours. I think you can see a little bit more stuff there. So you can see right here, the BZ field lines were getting pretty low over the last couple of hours right here. And during that time, that's when we had that high speed stream. We also did actually have some good active auroras happening in some parts of the country, especially even North America. The density was higher. and also that speed was really high. That is very indicative of a high speed stream that could do some storming. Now we're getting some flip-flopping. We have a northern facing BZ, and then it goes back down to south. However, BT is an indication of overall storming, and that is actually remaining relatively high. So yeah, the density did really tank though. So again, I'm not an expert. I would say that I'm a space weather enthusiast. I'm aware of how to read these charts. So I'm going to definitely consult some of my space weather friends who have a lot more they have a lot more experience with this stuff. They have a lot more tenure to them than I do. I'm pretty new into the space weather field, but I do think that there is a possibility we could see some stuff coming in out of this coronal hole, especially considering that the solar wind right now is actually in the 700s, but I have noticed it dropping. Could see a G2 storm maybe later on this evening. So yes, I will keep a close eye on all of that. You can see the K index values were a little bit high. The 3 hour window, they've gone back down. I would expect this to go back up. So I usually film these on Mondays, but since we could see maybe some potential of auroras tonight, yeah. And we don't have clouds tonight. That's great for Southeast Wisconsin. So I will keep you guys updated. I'll post things on my page and post details. So you guys stick with me. I will have more details as we go throughout the day today.